All right. Good morning. Welcome back to the best place on the internet. We're doing another stream here. It is Wednesday. The market came back a little bit, so we're gonna dive in, take a look at the charts today. If you're new here, my name is Forrest. I invest in stuff. I think that everybody should too. We're gonna have some fun today. We're in one of my new studios here right now, so finally got some light going on. Let's go ahead and jump into the charts, though. Let's take a look. All right. So as we can see, and we'll see who comes in this morning, nice little coming off from the highs yesterday, okay, pulled back almost to my initial measured move target. So the red line was the adjusted measured move, that swing high target that I traded into. I mentioned on Monday that I'm being more tepid around here. Okay, we hit my target. Just from experience alone, I know once my target is hit, I don't necessarily want to double dip, right? I want to be patient, especially for a macro target, okay? So you can go look at the stream. Okay, I mentioned that I'm willing to give up a couple hundred points for certainty. Okay, I think I said 300 points, right? We went up 287 points for certainty. So I still think we're gonna move higher, but you have to understand that we could burn a few weeks and chop, okay? It is September. If we're gonna make the rest of this move, maybe into December, there's so much time, guys, that we could burn. We have this trend line below us. Okay, let me turn this off. Let's get this out of here. There's a trend line below us. Okay, there's still this naked POC down here. Okay, that's not a PDL at this point or a PDH. But there's a lot of time that we could burn. Look how far away we are off of this macro trend line, okay? So in a macro uptrend, you just need to be patient, okay? You want good buys, okay? You really, really want good buys. Otherwise, you will get hurt, and especially if you're trading a small account, it's gonna hurt a lot. OG Trade, good morning. Kirthana, good morning. What's up, y'all? What's up? Let me know if you guys can hear me okay. I'm using my DJI mic this morning. Hopefully it is loud enough. I do have levels. I just checked. On my mixer, Brandon Broussard, good morning. What's up, what's up? Let's see. The reality is no, people are so angry in the YouTube comments. So we're here. There's one thing I wanted to give you guys today that I tried to give you before. It's probably the best virtual private server that I've used. So let's go ahead and get you guys a code for this. If you're gonna copy trade or even trade at all, I highly recommend, highly recommend using a virtual private server. And I wanted to get you a discount on this one. You wanna use a good one because I could tell you from personal experience that I have cheaped out on things. You don't want to cheap out on your revenue generating activities, right? So one of the things I tell my employees in my business here at The Move, Miami, we have to aspire for excellence in all things that we do, 1% every single day. Okay, this is a bit of a tangent, but I just thought of this because I was thinking of my business. We have to aspire for excellence in every single thing that we do. Okay, and you can't go cheap on the things that are revenue generating. The things that people come to you for, that they know you for in your business, you can't go cheap. It's the same in trading, okay? Your tools, that's why I pay for premium on TradingView, okay? I could use free charting tools and stuff like that, and I did when I started, but because trading is how I make money, I need it to work every single time. I need my virtual private server to work every time. I need my internet to work every time. I pay for 2 internets everywhere. Okay, I pay for 2 internets here at this location. I pay for 2 internets at my house, and I pay for 2 internets at my old business location. Okay, not having access to the internet when I trade online is crazy. Can you imagine having 6 figures on the line and not being able to trade? That's happened to me, okay, because I was being cheap and lazy. Part of it is just laziness. Maybe you're not being cheap, but you're being lazy. So there's a bunch of different VPSs. It's not hard to spin up a VPS company. I like Quant VPS. I've been using them. I'm gonna get you guys this code here. and drop this in the chat. So if you want to use Quant VPS, there is the code for that. Really like their performance. Market right now, rounding over, we rejected basically the previous session's POC. Let's take a look here. Come on, volume profile. Speaking of the internet, I'm on Wi-Fi right now, which is annoying, but I'm getting my office painted, getting it painted black. And then I'm gonna do some other cool stuff in there. Shane, good morning. Quad, good morning. We got the core team in here. So previous session POC right here. Okay, we came up to that. We rejected it pretty well. We're rounding over. And there's so many people just in my building that don't belong here. You guys want to take a sneak peek of what's going on outside the door? Here, I'll show you. I'll show you what's going on over here. Hold on. Hold on, guys. Let me show you something. Let me show you something. Look at this. So I'm in the studio. There's the people out there. They're working construction. This is one of the studios. There's a light. Let me sit back down. Yeah, there's a lot of different contractors in here right now. Don't ask me how much money I've spent on this build. It's a lot. It's a lot of money. A lot of money. Can you guys see my chart? I'm assuming you can see my chart. Top of the morning, Conquistador, good morning. Let's look at ES. So I trade NQ, ES, obviously I like to use as a leader. No chart. Did it pop up? For whatever reason, when I go to studio mode on Streamlabs, it just breaks. Yes, can see it now. Interesting. Yeah, my Mac is just exploding. I like using ES. It's a little bit slower than NQ. It's less volatile than NQ, but it also allows us to have a better read, especially when we're looking at auction mechanics, okay? So if, for example, we took, let's just go to right here. Let's say we took this short on ES right here, okay? Now, your thesis here essentially would have to be a rejection of this node right here, right? So if I'm assuming we're rejecting this node, what I need to ask myself is, looking at both ES and NQ, what does volume say is likely to happen if I want to short here, right? And then what would be my target if I'm looking for a continuation lower? So let's look at some very obvious pivots. We'll pull this in, volume profile. There's a node down here. This thing is really, really taking its time to load. What I want to see is, what does the volume right here look like? So there's a massive shelf down here. Whoops. Okay, there's this node down here. So this would be my target. Okay, for a short, I'm trading into this liquidity. I'm basically assuming we're going to traverse this block right here, and we're going to bounce off this shelf, which has confluence with these lows. Okay, these lows, this node block. Okay, that's your trade idea. The risk then, on the risk side, I'm like, all right, well, what liquidity is above me that this could still go higher to and retest? All right, so we've got this up here, okay? There's like this P shape, and then we've got the POC. That's pretty dangerous. Okay, we could still come and do a lower high off of this POC, 1,000,000,000%. So you need to be cognizant of what the actual risk is on your trade, okay, without a signal candle, if you're just trading the VP. So without signal candles and things like that, if you're trying to preempt the market, just be cognizant of that, right? But we did retest that node, and on NQ, you can see that we retested the POC node. But there's a divergence here. We retested the block on ES, but most of the liquidity on ES is even higher. We've got these two POCs stacked together, and then the POC was actually much closer on NQ. But that is a risk, okay? Especially if this holds like this little trend right here and this bounces, it's going to come and retest this POC, okay? In terms of data today, actually forgot. Yeah, there's no data today. Tomorrow we have final GDP and unemployment claims. So unemployment claims is a big one right now because Trump's tariffs are beating a lot of people up. Farmers are getting crushed right now, you know, which is important for him because that's a lot of his base is middle America farmers, and they're getting absolutely demolished right now. How would you weight the head and shoulder pattern to what you see? How would I weight it? Like WEIGHT? I mean, it is a head and shoulders. If this plays out, if the head and shoulders plays out, I mean, this is the bottom. That's a big head and shoulders. You could maybe reasonably say here, right? I would look for the volume profile. I don't necessarily care about head and shoulders, the shape too much. Does it work out many times? Yes. Or not many times. Sometimes I would say. I honestly wasn't even looking at it until you said that, or until I read it. It's just not I'm just not that technical of a trader. I think about volume. The technicals that I really look at, that you guys hear me repeat over and over, are market edges. So previous day high and lows, overnight high and lows. Those clear edges where I know people are positioned. The head and shoulders doesn't really, if you think about the shape itself, doesn't really have anything to do with people's positioning, right? Even a bull flag is a better representation of positioning because you have a move, you have an impulse, and then you have consolidation, right? And so a bunch of people are taking positions, they're moving the market higher, there's some exhaustion, right? And there's some consolidation. If volume builds in a flag, right, versus a flag that forms without volume, which is very different, it's very, very, very different. If you get a flag with a lot of volume, you're probably going to get that next impulse. If you look at bull flags or bear flags that fail, if you check the volume in those patterns, it's probably there was not a lot of volume that came in. So I have not looked at how volume participation in head and shoulders has worked out. It's not a thing that I've looked at. You've actually made me curious. I can look at it. The head and shoulders pattern itself isn't something that I tend to trade around too much, to be honest. Doesn't mean it doesn't work. I'm just being honest with you and saying that it's not something that I've looked at. So I don't want to just, you know, make shit up and tell you. But, you know, textbook head and shoulders pattern, you know, we'd come down to this naked POC. That would be the move. The question is there volume here that makes this move? I mean, it's a naked POC. So yeah, that could be a trade for you. Again, on the macro, we've got this trend line. This is like the daily, weekly trend line, way, 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 way lower. Way lower. So we could come down quite a bit and still be in this uptrend, right? The lower high that we could put in is much lower than where we are right now. Let's look at ES on the daily, and let's get some lines in here. I want to draw it off of this low here, and I want to do this. So meaningful liquidity on ES is obviously lower. There's this block here and this consolidation, right? So that we're doing higher lows. We put almost equal highs in here from the period of the 13th to the 27th. So a lot of volume came in here. That's relevant. Very, 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 very likely we're going to come down and retest this. I would literally bet money on it, okay? We're going to do a move like that, guys. We'll see if I'm right. I've been wrong so far. Why? I'll say it again. Because of volume. This is where people are positioned. Obviously, people are positioned in here, but there's much less people positioned here than down here, okay? There's a lot of people positioned here, okay, off of this shelf. Low value, we've got a little bit of a node here at all-time highs. All-time highs is you're always gonna have a little node at all-time highs that looks just like this the entire way, okay? What you need to see for continuation is, if we go down to like, you know, the hourly or whatever, you know, which way is volume chasing. We're pushing lower still here. And yeah, we might just have a nice downside continuation of probably equal length of yesterday, to be honest. We have an N shape. If we flip the chart upside down, okay, you can do option I, by the way, to flip your chart around. If you flip the chart upside down, equal impulse is going to give us, we're going to be going for these highs, right, which is actually a low, okay? See that? Easy peasy, lemon Fabrizi. Downside, Target, Uno. Jimmy Blaine, yo, that's a cool name, dude. Are you a magician? We got US Prakash, sorry, I can't read, I'm literally blind. Mahalakshmi. My favorite name, sorry, I mean, there's a lot of cool names in the chat. Mahalakshmi, that's a strong ass name. Shout out to your mother or whoever named you. It's a strong ass name. Jimmy Blaine is a magician. Wow, that's crazy. Could not have guessed that. Pushing lower. Oh man. If you want to sign up for this week's giveaway, I will put it in the, I'll do you guys a favor. I'll put it in the chat. This will be the one day on Wednesday where I put it in the chat. Normally, you need to join the Discord. Join the Discord. Best trading community. So in addition to myself, we've got 3 other amazing traders making bank. I know W Dog's been on a hot streak. Soul's always on a hot streak. Best trader I know. We got young Alan, who's working at a big finance firm right now, actually, also streaming. So all of them stream on different days. They're all great traders in their own right, and we all trade around the volume profile, the same system that I use right here on stream. Let me go ahead and grab this link for you guys. There's a sign up form for the giveaway. Go ahead and sign up. So we have prior day low right here. Okay, this is gonna be the first key level that we really care about. Okay, we'll mark that up. PDL, we wanna see how we interact here. If I was long biased, this would be the place to look for. The first place that I would even consider taking a long would be off of a prior day low. Okay, ES, you can see prior day low is a little bit lower. Okay, we want both of those levels to get swept. Swept means that we move through the price and then we come back. Clean it up, we sweep it up. Okay, so there's nobody left there. Okay, why does that matter? Well, those are where people are trapped. Shorts are trapped here, not just at this one price, but the most extreme people who are trapped short are people who shorted at this price. Maybe that was you. Maybe you were one of those people who shorted at these prices instead of shorting up here like a smart person. But if you shorted at this price, right now is the opportunity where we're going to see a bunch of market aggressors come in on the long side because people are either going to race to get out break even or they'll get impatient and they'll take a small loss. And so you're going to see market aggressors in the inverse of whichever way the market is moving as you approach these edges every single time. Okay, so when we sweep it up, we can be confident that we cleaned up all of the traps. It's important. So when you get a signal candle at an edge in the direction of the trade, that's why those are the A trades, because we can be confident that we've at least cleaned up these players. Okay, now there's a very obvious node right here, but we can be confident we clean these people up, and if the market's going to come back, we've eliminated at least a segment of the market. It's really, really important to be patient for that to happen. Doing God's work with your help. Thank you. Love that, bro. Have a purpose, live your purpose. SMK Prabhu. Good morning. Prabhu. I don't even know if you guys' names are real, but they're pretty good. They're pretty good. Conquistador, I mean, that's a good name. That's a good name. We got a lot of good names. Tons of good names. What questions you guys got for me this morning? Lay them on me. Lay them on me. If you missed earlier, if you want a virtual private server, check out Quant VPS. I'll drop the code again for y'all. This is the best VPS in the game, bar none. Super efficient. I'm a big stickler. It's like 50-50. On one hand, the website matters. Like the thing I like about Quant VPS is it was obviously made by, I don't know, they have some UX designer over there, for sure. It's very simple, okay? I'm a nerd, guys. I'm a software engineer by trade. You need to know this about me. I've built a lot of software. I sold a lot of software, right? I used to work on, my first job out of college was working on software for ACH transfers, right? So I worked on software to move money around. My entire life has been around money. Writing software to move money, the options, research tool that I built, myself is around money. And, when I consider using tools in the trading space, it's just a litmus test. It's an indicator for the quality of the build, okay? If your front end is bad, okay, if the thing that people see first is bad in your business, I can't imagine that you care about, SLAs and customer support and all these other things. It's not true across the board, but it's a very simple litmus test, right? So if you care about the first thing that people see, you probably care about the second, third, and fourth. You know what I mean? So UX design, they passed that litmus test. And yeah, I've been using them for a while now. So check them out. Drop the code in the chat. There it is. Get you a virtual private server. The reason to use a VPS, oh my God, throw my wallet. Is because if you want to use Replicano, which everyone's always asking me about all the time, is you should just use Replicano. You should not run it on your own computer. You should run it on a separate server on Quant VPS, and you can also trade on your phone. So you can log in to your leader account in TradingView. It'll execute, copy trade all your 20, 40 accounts, whatever firms you're trading on your VPS, and you can do that 24/7. That's the best way to copy trade for sure. See, we got a little reaction, right, as we approach this edge. Should not be surprising at all. That's just how it is. There's no tier 1 data today, guys, right? So it's just going to be either we're going to have an inside day here, okay, very choppy, or we're going to get this kind of continued move. We will see. You guys hear that hammer? Do you hear the construction? We're getting our bathroom. We have some beautiful, beautiful like custom wallpaper with our logo embossed that we're getting into the bathroom. Super moody. It's gonna be sick. It's gonna be sick. 10 a.m. home sales. Is that today? New home sales? 2 minutes. Tier 2 event? Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Let's see what happens. Dun, 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 dun. New home sales is an interesting one. So the American economy kind of runs on mortgages, in my opinion. A lot of the economic machine is based off of this idea that you get a job, you work forever, you get into a 30-year mortgage, which is basically your whole life, and then you work this job so that you can have health care, so you can pay for this house, which, is the American dream. A lot of people consider their house an investment, which it's not, because you have to live somewhere anyways, and you make money on investments, right? You can sell an investment. You can't sell your house. You got to buy another house. You know what I mean? I digress. Point is, new home sales is a good indicator of how regular folk are doing. When people are buying homes and locking themselves into that 30-year ball and chain, it's a good sign of the U.S. economic machine doing what it usually does. When it's down, it's not good. So the American economy runs on long-term debt, and when people are not getting into more long-term debt, it's usually bad for continued growth. Hey man, so you have updates on the status for the last account giveaway winners? Yeah, check back later today. You should have that. Same as auto loans data. Yep. People have the debt that people take on for auto loans in this country is beyond stupid. It's a depreciating asset that immediately depreciates. It's not even like a slow depreciation. You buy the car, it's instantly worth less just because you owned it, right? And it's not new. And then you're in an 85-month loan for $1,000, which is crazy. The whole system is designed for you to need to work for some corporate mogul. We live in a corporate welfare state, basically, where it's in order for you to have anything, you have to work for some that's why you guys got to trade. That's all I'm saying. That's why you got to trade. Do traders contribute to society? No. But does anybody? Thanks, man. You're welcome. You are welcome. Got lucky with my car during COVID, 1-year-old for $12K. Yeah, man. Nice to see you, the Geet. Weot. We're pushing lower, so we got a bimodal distribution that's forming here. Let's see. Let's turn on. So our P shape is turning into a B shape. Okay, so we have volume building lower. Data just came out. We're 2 minutes into new home sales. A little bit of continuation here. What's good about owning a home and selling it? You can get a $250,000, $500,000 home sales tax exclusion. Yeah, I mean, it's not bad to have equity and things like that by any means, but if you sell your house and roll it into a new loan, which is what most people do, it doesn't really do anything. All of your net worth is tied up in a house. It's not bad to own a house though, guys, right? I invest in real estate. I actually I rent. My primary residence, I rent. I own real estate though. I actually treat real estate like an investment, right? I argue, people fight with me all the time, and I'm just like, look, bro, if you live in your house, it's not an investment. It just objectively is not. Go ahead and sell that thing and tell me how much money you made after you go and buy another one. I could sell all my shit. I could sell it. I could sell it any day. And I mean, that's all I'm saying. But there's nothing wrong with having equity in things. Owning a home is objectively good. It's just not for the reasons that I think that people think it is. Hey, bro, we haven't received our giveaway that we won last week. I don't think you were on the list of winners from last week, my brother. I'll pull it up right now. Actually, I know for a fact you weren't, because I just checked on it this morning. Lifetime up to, unless you use a different account. Sell the big house, I retire and buy a small home someplace else. Yeah, that's valid. That's totally valid. Again, owning a home is objectively good. Okay, I'm a very nuanced person. Okay, semantics are important to me. Having equity in a home is objectively good. It's just not an investment. That's all I'm saying. But like owning, eventually you pay your home off, right? And you don't have to pay rent. You could take that money that you would be paying in rent and you could just invest it into the S&P 500. Now you have a ton of free cash flow, right? If you rent forever, you couldn't do that. So there are different levels and things to it, but while you're paying the mortgage and if you keep rolling into new mortgages, you never really own anything. The bank always owns your house and you're just paying the bank, right? That's just how it is forever. What's up, bro? We haven't received our giveaway we won last week. You should get it today, Jose. Hello, my friend. What videos do I need to watch to get my chart set up the way you have it on the screen? None. I will give you my setup in the chat. I can... That should give you my exact chart setup. Like my mom, for example, she's approaching retirement. Her home is paid off. It's not worth a lot, but that was a smart choice because she didn't buy a super expensive house. She was able to pay it off. I helped her renovate it a little bit, and now she just has free cash flow. Her cost of living is extremely low because she doesn't have a mortgage. So her retirement savings that she's living off of, like, she doesn't have to pay a mortgage. She doesn't have to pay a car payment. You know, she just has to pay for food and electricity. And unfortunately, real estate taxes, that's how the government gets you. You never really own your house because if you don't pay your taxes, they'll take it back, FYI. But she's got a lot of free cash flow, or she doesn't really need that much money, you know? So that's a smart thing. The thing is, though, most people don't buy cheap homes. Most people look at the amount of money that they make and they say, what's the biggest, best house that I could buy? 99.99% of people live their life like that. They make $2,000 a paycheck and they go, okay, I'll spend half of this on my house. I'll spend another $500 on my car, and then I'll live off the $5. And they just live at the absolute limits of their means for the entirety of their life. So we have this node that's building lower. I want to see that POC, point of control on ES, shift lower. Once this shift lower on ES, we will get this continuation, okay, lower on both tickers. Okay, until then, we still have this inside day. Okay, if you look at the daily, let's get rid of this line. Don't need that projection anymore. We still have this inside day on the daily. All right, we need to see this crack for something meaningful to happen. If you want to join this week's giveaway, I'll drop the link in the chat again. Get yourself a free My Funded Futures account, best prop firm in the game. And if you're looking for a day trading home, join my Discord server, Trade Edge. I'm biased, but I like us. We're real traders, no bullshit. Very straight to the point. Everybody there cares about actually understanding the markets. We have fun for sure. They're a little rowdy in there. But they're all real traders, and that's why we created this community. So if you're just looking for call outs and handouts, please don't join. You're just gonna piss me off. But if you wanna learn how to trade, if you wanna learn how to, you know, learn a skill that ultimately can change your life, please join. We would love to have you. I love teaching, I love sharing. That's why we do it. The implementation of the 2 sticky notes on my computer method you mentioned has been extremely helpful. Yeah, man, I love it. So for anybody who's curious what he's talking about, a good way to limit the number of trades that you take in a day okay, is called the sticky note method, okay? So instead of just relying on willpower, okay, you need to make real the things you think, okay? Now, there's a few ways you can do this, all right? The number one is write them down, okay? This works for affirmations, things like that, right? All of you should write down your affirmations, and you should say them every day to yourself in the mirror. You should look yourself in the eye in the mirror, and you should say affirmations, positive things about yourself. I am the personification of confidence. My dreams are not dreams to me. They are the purpose of my existence, and I live them daily, right? So those are some of my affirmations. I can say them at any point in time because I've said them thousands of times. If you have trouble saying positive things about yourself to yourself, it's because you lack confidence. If it's easy for you to say things like, I'm lazy, I can't do it, it's hard, people don't believe in me, you gotta fix that. So first and foremost, do that. The sticky note method, which I'm coming back to, I promise, is within that same thing, right? So if you wanna limit yourself to 3 trades a day, get 3 sticky notes, and every time you take a trade, okay, ball one up and throw it away. Once you're out of sticky notes, okay, once you are out of sticky notes, you're done. This is gonna help you not overtrade, which is a problem that most people have, okay? Now, you could just not do this, and you're like, oh, I'll just stop trading, but you know you're bullshitting yourself, all right? You can lie to yourself, but don't lie to me. Okay, I hate when people lie to me. Keep that in your own house. If you wanna stop lying to yourself, get some sticky notes, get some paper, whatever, but make real, okay, the things that you think. Get them out of your head. Make some more space in your head. Okay, you can't keep it all up here. Write it down, journal, track your performance. It's gonna make it a lot easier. And you're gonna feel like a professional. You're gonna feel like you're actually making progress and getting closer to your dreams, whether it's trading, your relationship, whatever it is. Okay, make real the things you think, write them down, make them tangible. Okay, that just means make them physical. It's gonna make you feel a lot better. So do that, try it out. You're gonna notice it almost is gonna become like a game too. So when you have like 3 or 4 trades in a day, you're gonna be much more particular about using up those trades, right? Of course, different trading platforms have lockout mechanisms, so you can also limit yourself with trading like that. I highly encourage you to do that and actually stick to the rules that you make for yourself, okay? At least until you've earned the right to not, go so overboard, okay? Give it a shot. Forrest, do you primarily trade NQ or ES? I had to place an app blocker in place, works pretty well. Good idea. I trade NQ. So I look at NQ and ES both every single day. I like to track or trade the confluence of them. They move very, very similarly. Sometimes I take trades just based off of how NQ looks. Sometimes I take trades just based off of how ES looks. The best trades is when you get a signal candle on both charts, sweeping the same side. Okay, very similar volume setup. That's where you can leverage into like 10 NQ trades. Now, some of you guys might not have accounts. I trade my personal account, but most of my money, I'm thinking if this is mathematically true, it is off of the few big hits that I take. All the other trades that I take, I don't really hedge anymore, are just producing capital for my big trades. Like my day trades and things like that, I just look at ways to produce capital for my big trades. But, swing trading, 4 or 5 NQ across hundreds of points or 1,000 points makes way more money than making 70 points with 1 NQ, right? Or 2 NQ. Like that's just money for later. One of the hardest things for me to do before was wait for the trade. Now, if I don't trade all day, I'm okay with that. Yeah. I think most new traders feel like they need to do something to learn, and it's because they're not willing to just like use the tools in front of them, right? You can sim trade. Like there's no reason, like you can make infinite sim accounts on TradingView. Like there's no, if you don't have sim accounts for different strategies or different time frames, I think you guys are really, really not using the tools that are in front of you. I used to have an account per time frame. I'd have a 1 hour sim account, a 2 hour sim account, a 4 hour sim account, and I would only take trades on those time frames in those accounts. And again, it makes you feel like a professional. It makes you feel like you're making progress and you're tracking performance in a meaningful way. If that sounds like too much work to you and you're unprofitable, I hope that you start to connect those dots. Pretty slow day though, not surprising. Okay, no tier 1 data. We need to see the POC shift lower. We'll get this continuation. We'll crack the floor. Okay, downside target on NQ, already marked it down here, 24,655. ES, we'll probably go for this node, whatever the heck this is, whatever price this is. Let's just call it, we could go for here or here, but I'm just gonna gut downside target 1. So I'm pretty good at this. Pretty good at this trading thing. Last question. On average, how long would you say you'd hold your trades for? Over 4 hours. I trade on the 4 hour time frame mostly. So my trades are anywhere from like 4 to 16 hours. And then some of my trades hit like the 36 hour range for like my day trades, which those aren't day trades. 36 hours isn't a day trade, but you get it. Just passed 150K eval off of your YouTube channel and knowledge in the Discord. I appreciate you. Thank you. I appreciate you. That's what it's about. Take a risk, CHK. Getting it done. JP, welcome, by the way. I don't know if you've been here before. I don't recall your name, but I appreciate you being here. Thanks for stopping by. I hope you join us in the trading floor in Discord. I have a folder in my TradeZilla called Forrest Trees where I pull all the gems you drop on the streams, added the 1 hour, 3 hour, and 4 hour sim account to it. Awesome. Love that. Appreciate it. Yeah, life is about, one of the things I was blessed early on was that I had the opportunity to do was be a Division I athlete. And I feel like when you're trying to, which at the time I was trying to make it to the Olympics, I was trying to qualify for the Olympics. When you're trying to be the best in the world at something, you have to hold yourself to crazy standards. Now, I failed at that. I did not make it to the Olympics, but I got to race against Olympians. I got to race against people at that level, right? And you have to be fanatic. You have to be fanatic about your own accountability. You have to be hyper accountable. You have to understand that all of the outcomes in your life, especially once you've approached my age, are your fault. Okay? Your circumstances are the starting line. Okay? Being poor, being black, being white, being a man, being a woman, being rich, your parents loving you, your parents hating you, getting beat up, having one leg, having 2 legs. Okay, your circumstances are your starting line. By the time you're 30, I'm 34. That shit's your fault. So, I'm a huge social accountability person, right? I'm a humanitarian, but at some point, you just got to look at your circumstances and be like, all right, I'm the person in the driver's seat of my life, and you're either going to do what's required or you won't. And it might take you a little longer. You might get there a little faster. But if you focus on what you want to do, you will find people that will help you, okay? You will find people on your path. If you focus on getting on your path, you're going to find people on the same path, and you will all go far and fast together. But that's how I live my life, Like if you want to do stuff that's really, really hard, you just gotta knuckle up and get her done. Get her done. What time is it? 10:19? I don't have my shades on because my light is, you see how bright my light is? I could fix it, but I'm not gonna. Not gonna do that. New here, thanks, man. Looking to try out something new. The scalping thing is just hit or miss for me. About to do a deep dive. Yeah, scalping is not objectively good or bad. What I would say for new people, scalping is hard. Being consistently good as a scalper is hard. You'll have hot days, and I'm sure you've seen this. This is probably your frustration. This is where a lot of people get frustrated when they scalp. They have days where you're hot. You have like an 80% win rate, even a 90% win rate. I've had days where I scalped where I had a perfect win rate. And then you have days that are the complete opposite. And this is what happens for most people. I don't think I'm that unique in this regard. Every trade you take is wrong. I've had some pretty bad days, guys. Every trade you take is wrong. I mean, a 0% win rate. I've had days like that. And you try to figure it out. And the thing with scalping that you kind of miss when you're scalping is you think every day is a trading opportunity because you're trading on such a small time frame, right? You trade on like a 3-minute. You're always hunting across candlesticks trying to find a trade. And when you trade on the higher time frames, a side effect of that is that you realize that there aren't that many good trades. And the trades are just bigger, so you make more money anyways. For example, okay, I took a short yesterday, like 140 points. I didn't capture this entire move. Yeah, I only captured like half of it. And that was the only trade I took. I took one trade, 140 points. Okay. I would imagine that most people made less money than I did yesterday across more trades. I'll say that again. Most people made less money than me doing more work than I did. I was moving, by the way. For those of you who are new here, right? I'll show you guys where I'm at. Okay. I'm in my studio. We're building out. We got a bunch of construction going on out there still. Okay. This is the new headquarters for my business here in Miami. I don't have time to look at the markets all day, okay? Like, I just don't have time to do that, which is partially why I trade on the higher time frames. You make more money, it's easier. You just have to be okay with, like Quad said, some days you just do nothing. You just have to do nothing. But in the doing nothing, I'm analyzing, I'm watching, I'm thinking about how the volume profile is developing. Like right now we have this B shape. So even though I'm doing nothing, I am thinking about, okay, I know that we have a B shape forming right now. If the next 4 hours is going to close at 2, what would be a reasonable outcome for the VP to develop? Right now, I can tell you what I'm thinking is this might turn into like a D-shaped VP, right? A very normal distribution, which is going to give us a very range day if we don't break lower soon. If this rejects this POC now and we build more volume below the VAL, then we'll get this continuation. Otherwise, we're going to range for sure. But yeah, scalping is just hard, okay? It's hard. It's probably the hardest thing to do, and you're gonna have a very boom or bust cycle. Emotional roller coaster. What account do you recommend on MFF? The largest one, 150. The reason I like MFF versus other prop firms, they're just the favorite. I think if you can make a prop firm work, that's fine. But like you want to get accounts that are as close to a real account as possible. So the least amount of rules. You don't want prop firm anxiety, as I would call it. Like, oh no, I'm going to break this rule or that rule, because that doesn't exist. Like, I learned trading my own account. Okay, I just grew it slowly over time. There was no data rules. There was no close your trade at 4 or whatever rules. Like, none of that existed. The only thing that existed to me was thesis in the market. So prop firms are great because they allow you to get leverage, but that leverage comes with strings attached. And what I've seen, unfortunately, is that a lot of you guys fail for the wrong reason. You actually think you're bad traders, but you're just failing at being a prop trader. And failing at being a prop trader doesn't necessarily mean you'll fail at being a real trader, but they're not the same thing, okay? It's actually, they're very different things. So what I would focus on is learning how to trade, and then once you have some edge, you can apply that within the prop realm, okay? That's a tangent. I'm always gonna, I don't mind being an affiliate for prop firms. They're great tools, but you should focus on being a real trader first and foremost. The trailing drawdown accounts, the hardest. That's like prop firm anxiety on the highest level. The only reason, okay, to trade Apex, and I think that I have them in my rotating thing, is for scale. It's the only reason, and they're cheap, I should say. They're cheap, and you can get a lot of them. That's why you should trade Apex. So if you have a system, you're like, okay, I want to get 5 accounts for 16 bucks, or 20 accounts for 16 bucks, and you get one payout, even if you're making like 400 or 500 bucks every other day, okay, 500 bucks times 20, you just made a lot of money, even if it takes you 2 months to do it, right? Take your time. That's the reason to do it, is you can scale. And that scale, you can take that money, put it into your own personal account, but your goal should be to take your payouts and trade your own personal account. Every single one of you. That should be your goal with prop firms, is funding yourself. Cool. Well, we're approaching the end of the stream here. Not much has happened. Go figure. That's what happens. Tomorrow is unemployment claims, okay, which is very, very important in this macroeconomic environment. I'll say it again. Tomorrow is unemployment claims. The things to look for here that I'll leave you all with, okay, is we want to see how volume forms. Let's go to the 1 hour real quick. We want to see, I'll write this down, does volume continue to build lower, and can we hold below VAL? Okay. If we can hold below VAL, I'll tell you right now that we'll get a downside continuation. VAL is the side of, it's a whole, I'm trying to keep this as succinct as possible. VAH to VAL is one standard deviation of volume. Outside of that, we're in the tail end of the distribution. So if we start to build volume at the tail, that means that our distribution is wrong and it's reforming, right? And we'll get a continuation. The market's going to run away from where we are, and it's just going to run lower, okay? Where's it going to run to? Well, we got a nice little target down here, downside target 1, okay? Very simple. So we want to see where volume builds. If we start to range, and we come back to the POC, this low value area will fill in. We'll end up with a D-shaped VP, which is just a normal distribution. That's all it is. It's a normal distribution. When things are normally distributed, it's just going to range, right? We're going to traverse that node. This volume, for anybody that's new here, by the way, why I traded volume profile, tells us how many people are positioned here. How many people are positioned at a price is the most important factor in an auction, okay, in a double-sided auction, because people have to make decisions off of their basis. They have to. Not they might be incentivized, they have to, okay? Just like you have $1,000 and you'll get, you can only hold down to $1,000 loss. The person with $1 million who's trading 50 contracts is sweating just the same, okay? It's all the same. So where people are positioned is the most important factor in the market, okay? The candlesticks just tell us what prices get engaged with. Volume profile tells us how strongly those prices were engaged with, okay? Any questions? Cool. Well, I'm gonna leave you guys with something a little bit positive. Per usual, gotta do it. Each of you has what it takes to realize your dreams, not just here in the markets, but in life, personally, okay? Financially, physically, emotionally, but certainly as day traders. Day trading is really, really hard. It doesn't mean it's impossible. Going to space was hard. We did that. Okay, building an airplane was hard. We did that. Okay, you can do it, but you're gonna have to break your bad patterns. You know what they are, okay? It might be waking up at the last minute and then immediately jumping into a trade. It might not be tracking your performance. It might be going full tilt after one loss and not writing anything down. Maybe you're not journaling. Maybe you're not sim trading, okay? Whatever it is, stop doing it. Write things down, hold yourself accountable, do some daily affirmations, do the weird things that make you different from the other failing traders. You can't show up every single day like your 4 friends who are also losing in the market and expect a different outcome. You've got to be the exception, okay? Be weird, be exceptional. You can do it. Subscribe to my channel, join the Discord, and I'll see you guys on Friday when we do the announcement for the